आज हम लोगों का इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन विद जावास्क्रिप्ट का पहला वीडियो है। तो आज हम लोग समझने वाले हैं जावास्क्रिप्ट काम कैसे करता है, जावास्क्रिप्ट में कॉल स्टैक क्या होता है, व्हाट इज कॉल स्टैक इन जावास्क्रिप्ट एंड हाउ डज जावास्क्रिप्ट वर्क्स, and what is the asynchronous nature of the javascript and what is microtask queue, macrotask queue. तो ये क्वेश्चन इंटरव्यूज में बहुत ज्यादा आता है। नॉर्मली मैंने भी ऑलमोस्ट 5-6 इंटरव्यूज में फेस किया है। तो मैं हर एक जगह पे अटक जाता था। तो इसलिए मैंने ये प्लेलिस्ट स्टार्ट किया है। सो लेट्स सी, फर्स्ट लेट मी शेयर माय स्क्रीन, देन we will see what is call stack in JavaScript. Okay. I hope my screen is visible to you. So as you can see, I have written what is call stack in JavaScript. Okay. So the call stack is JavaScript. Let's just imagine a call stack is just a simple stack where our code is executed. Okay. We have whenever you go to an interview, जब भी आप इंटरव्यू में जाओगे तो पहले जब भी आपको कोई कॉल स्टैक के बारे में पूछेगा, अगर आप ये ड्राइंग कर पाए तो ऑलमोस्ट आपने इंटरव्यू क्रैक कर दिया। तो ये क्या है? तो पहले मैंने लिखा दिस इज द कॉल स्टैक, सो दिस इज वेयर ऑल द कोड्स आर बीइंग एग्जीक्यूटेड इन द जावास्क्रिप्ट इंजन। दिस इज द एक्चुअल जावास्क्रिप्ट इंजन वी हियर अबाउट, and these are the browser APIs, and this is the microtask queue, and this is the macrotask queue. Okay, so what are these and why do we actually need to learn this? So you must know that JavaScript is single threaded language, right? JavaScript JS is a single threaded language. Now you might ask that if JavaScript is a single-threaded language, then how does asynchronous tasks happen? Because we never see JavaScript engine get stuck in an await whenever we do any kind of await or anything. It continuously execute the task. Okay, so how does it happen? So this happens because of this whole mechanism of call stack, browser APIs, microtask queue, macrotask queues. Whenever any kind of code is executed, uh, it first comes into the call stack. Then if it is a if it is a part of browser APIs, it goes into the browser APIs, and based on that API it goes into the microtask queue or the macro task queue, and based on that, after the call stack is empty, there's an event loop. There's a thing called event loop. It continuously checks the call stack. Okay, so whenever it sees the call stack is empty, it checks into the microtask queue first. If there is something, it sends over there, it gets executed. Then it checks in the macro task queue. If there is something, it gets over there and then it gets executed. Okay, this is how it works. So what is what kind of questions does come with this? Okay, so let's go to the VS Code and let's figure it out. Okay, so I have taken some of the examples. Let me just zoom in so that you can understand it better. So this is the first one. Let's start with it. Okay, let me just start with it. Okay, so node 01 dot js. Okay, so let's see what is happening. Okay, first console log is there, console log sync, set timeout is there, promise dot resolve, and console log. Okay, so what should be the order of it? You must be thinking that if the set timeout is 0 and promise dot resolve is happening instantly, then it should do orderly, right? First is first one, then the second one, then the third one, then the fourth one, right? But actually it doesn't happen like that. So what actually happens? I have written it over here. So let's just see what happens. Okay, let's just copy the code from over here and let's just paste it and see one by one. So what happens over here? Okay, so let's see. Let me just delete this. What happened? So let's see first. So first the console log comes here. The sync log, console log comes here. Okay, console log comes here. Console log is the part of the JS language. So it gets executed and we get, let's just write over here first. We get number one sync log. Okay. Now let's see what happens in the second thing. Then the set timeout comes. It gets out. Then the set timeout comes over here. Set timeout comes over here. The set timeout is a part of browser API. So call stack just gives it to browser API like this. Okay. Then the browser API gives it to the Macrotask queue. It sits over here. Then the promise comes over here. Okay. The promise is a part of browser API. There's something, some kind of error. Okay. 1 minute. The promise is a part of browser API. So it comes over here. The browser API sends it to the Microtask queue. Okay. It sits over here. Then the console log comes. Then the last console log comes over here like this, and it gets executed, and it's get out of here. Okay. The console log, the last one, 4 is over here, and it's get written over here. Number 4 is the sync log. Okay. Now let's see what happens next. Then the event loop. Then the event loop comes over here. Event loop looks into the call stack. It sees it empty. Okay. Then the event loop sees into the microtask. You see, there's a promise over here. It takes the promise over here and executes it. So in the third case, what will happen? The promise will get executed. 3 promise resolved. Okay. Then the fourth one, then it looks into the call stack again. It sees it's empty. Then it says it goes into the microtask queue. Sorry, it goes into the macrotask queue over here. What the over here, the macrotask queue. It takes this set timeout and shows it over here, and the fourth one gets executed, the sync log. So this is how the codes are executed. I hope I'm able to make it understand. So not the sync log. Sorry. That's my bad. 3, the promise. The number 2, timer. Set timeout. Okay. So what is the analogy? 1432, right? Same thing happens over here. 1432. Let's see with a little bit of hard example. Okay. This is another example. This is another example of it. Let me just zoom it so that you can see it better. And let's just try to guess what will be the output. I will not tell it and we will do it together. Then I will show it to you. Okay. Let me just run it. Okay. Start end. So I hope these two first two are the clear. First two is clear. Okay. Now what happens? Then first the start happens. It gets executed immediately. Then it comes to set timeout. Set timeout goes to the macro task queue. Oh, that's not a problem. Then the promise come. Promise go to the micro task queue. Same for over here. The promise goes to the micro task queue. Okay. Then it sees what's the problem. Then it go. Then the event loop. Let's just do it over there only. Okay. Let's do it over there only. It will be much easier for us to understand. Okay. Let's just paste it. So first the start comes. It gets executed. Just delete it. First happens start. Okay. What happens next? Then the set timeout comes in. Just delete this first. Okay. So let's start with it. Okay. Console log the start has been then the set timeout comes. Set timeout goes to the browser API. This set timeout goes to the browser API, and then the set timeout goes to the macro task queue. Okay. We already have a set timeout over. Let's assume that this is the this one. Okay. Then the promise comes. Promise dot resolve. Then it goes to the browser API. Then it comes over here. So we have a promise. Okay. Then same thing happens with the second promise as well. Promise comes into the call stack. Promise goes to the browser API. Then we have then the second promise come over here. Okay, second promise with E. Let's give it a E. Then the console log comes. Console log comes and get executed. So over here it gets executed. Now comes the part of the event loop. Okay. So event loop comes over here. It comes to the event loop. Event loop is in the call stack. It finds it empty. It goes to the micro task queue. Okay. First in the micro task queue, it says that there is a promise. Okay. So it takes this promise over here. It goes into the promise for execution. Then it's the first micro task. So what happens? hmm Then it executes, and this is the first micro task is printed. Task. Then what happens? It encounters a set timeout. So the set timeout goes to the browser API, and from there it comes to the macro task queue. So let's see over here. Let's just write over here. Second inside set timeout. Okay, this promise is gone. Okay, now as soon as the promise this promise is resolved, then event loop checks again and sees that there's another promise. So it takes this promise from over here and gets it over here. So there is a console log over here. So there then it executes the console log. Okay. So number 4 it will be execute E, the second micro task. Okay. Then what happens? Then the event loop sees that the micro task is empty. So what it does, it comes into the macro task queue. So inside the macro task queue, it sees that there's already a set timeout. Okay, so the set timeout goes over here. Set timeout goes over here inside this set timeout first one. Okay, It says there's a console log. So it prints the console log over here. Let's say what is this one? A time A timer callback. Okay. Now what happens? It says there's another promise over here. So as soon as it gets the promise, it goes to the browser API. It pushes it to the Microtask queue promise. Okay. Now event loop checks again in the Macrotask queue and the Microtask queue. It says there's another promise over here. It says there's another promise over here. So it executes this promise first. Okay, executes the promise first. What is then what will be the sixth one? Microtask inside timer. Now we just have this promise left inside timeout. So this one is left. Timer scheduled for microtask. This one timer scheduled from microtask. So this is it. Sorry, this is the order. Let's see if it matches our code or not. Let's see. Okay, this is our order: start, end, first microtask, second microtask, timer callback, microtask inside timer, timer schedule for microtask. So I hope I was able to make you understand the concept of microtask queue, and you are accustomed on how to answer the questions if you are asked in the interview the what is event loop, what is microtask queue, what is task queue, what is call stack, and how does asynchronous JavaScript works. Okay, in that case, bye bye, sayonara.